So, the audio was majorly scuffed. Like, the game audio was fine, but my mic was horrendous. I was talking while fighting it, but I, I will not put you through that audio. And they weren't on separate tracks, so I can't just, remove it without it being extremely awkward and or tedious. And frankly, I just can't be bothered to edit my voice out of the game audio, so I just muted the whole clip. Essentially, I'm fighting a wither. No tools, no food, no armor, no potions, no nothing. No additional help, just punching it until it dies, or specifically punching its projectiles back at it until it dies from its own attacks. Because you can't get close enough to actually punch it in its first phase, and trying to do that in its second phase is ill-advised, to say the least. Essentially, to start, assuming you're following along at home, which I mean, you can. There's nothing really stopping you. It'll take a couple tries, but you can kill the wither with no weapons on your own as well by doing the following. To start the fight off, you will be strafing, like I am in the clip. Just walking around the wither. It fires straight at you, not predicting where you're going to be. It's accurate if you're walking straight away or straight towards it, but it's not accurate if you're walking to the side of it. Just dodge it like it's a skeleton. It has about the same accuracy, but slower projectiles. And every 3 black skulls it shoots at you, it fires 1 blue skull at you. You can punch this one back at it. Don't try punching the black ones back at it. You can't, and they will kill you. As you shoot the blue skulls at it, you want to aim for its rib cage because its heads are immune to the damage. If a skull hits its head, it just doesn't do anything. The thing can explode and everything. It's just ineffective. And you notice that every time it fires its volley of 3 and then 1, it moves to a new spot and does it again. It does this for its entire flying phase, which I separate into the Wither fight into 4 phases for this particular strategy, if you want to call it a strategy. First phase is this one, right now, where it's firing slowly, it's moving around, and it doesn't really seem like it's trying to kill me that much, besides the usual Wither hostility. It fires roughly 1 skull per second, assuming it's in a volley, and it just fires and then moves and then fires. Next phase happens when it gets down to 500 health out of 600, where it fires about twice as quickly, I want to say, and seems like it's trying a little harder to kill him. We're not there yet, though, so I'll just wait a little bit. Oh, and here we are. This is what I'd call the second flying phase. Notice how it's firing faster. That's basically the only difference. It also moves around more, but that's just because its volleys are shorter. It doesn't need to spend as much time in one place firing. The window for hitting it with its own blue skull is exactly the same, but this part of the fight is faster because it's shooting more blue skulls per amount of time because it's firing faster. Only downside is that more skull frequency also means more projectiles heading their way. Because while it fires the same amount of volleys, it fires them faster, which means it has a generally faster fire rate. Thankfully, this also means we have higher DPS, which means this phase goes faster than the first one. Also, it's flying directly above you is going to be pretty scary, because you can't just strafe in any one direction while staring at it, because you'll be either going in a straight line or staying in the same spot, which is bad, since it'll just kill you. But we just continue the same strategy. Strafe, dodge the black skulls, punch the blue skull back at. This is what I call the third flying phase. Notice how it's firing much faster. You can practically see all of the blue skulls at once. This phase is even faster than the second one, or it would be if I could hit my shots and it wasn't as dangerous. But, I mean, it's also much more dangerous than the first and second phases, just because the skulls feel more erratic. They seem less likely to go in a straight line at you, like in the first phase. So there's always a chance that one is heading right towards where you're heading, and that's just really not good for your health. Because remember, one hit is lethal. If you get hit one time, you are dead. That blue skull right there is what I would later call a bad skull, as in it's going towards my feet. The ones going towards my head are good skulls. This is because they're easier to hit. The ones heading towards my feet are very hard to hit and very hard to aim correctly, and have actually gotten me killed in an attempt before. I think the one immediately before this, I got it to like halfway through its second phase and just died because I failed to deflect the blue skull because it was heading towards my feet. Anyways, speaking of second phase, we're what, 4 or 5 hits away from it? Maybe? I don't know. Boss bar is weird sometimes. Well, that's 2, 3? No, that misses. 3. Yeah, either this one or yeah, this one. And now it's in its second phase. It gains a dash attack, and it hovers just above the ground instead of way above the ground. Notice how I'm keeping my distance. The dash attack deals a lot of damage. This is what I would call a good skull, because it was flying almost over my head, which makes it very easy to aim. The Wither likes to fire 2 volleys and then dash at you in this phase. Notice how it increased its rate of fire already, even though it's only barely below half health. I don't know why it does this. Maybe it regened back past 300 health, and then when I took it back below, it messed with the fire rate calculations. But anyways, Wither is firing faster now. That is what I would call a bad skull. I still managed to make it work, but they're not worth the risk. As you'll see relatively soon, it's a bad idea to go for those skulls. Yeah, that one's pretty good. Notice how I start sprinting because the wither's really close. That was a bad skull because it would have killed me if I went for it. That was a good skull because it was going towards my head. Also a good skull. That was kind of mediocre. This is a good skull. I miss with it though. Good skull. Bad skull. Notice how I just walk away from it. I was not taking that chance. Also a bad skull. And also a terrible skull. Good skull. Or, I guess, sort of, like, it also depends on whether or not there's black skulls heading towards me from that direction. That's a very bad skull. I went for it and took a bit of damage for it. Thankfully, I still have saturation, so I just healed. That was a pretty good skull. Also a pretty good skull. The craters around me are starting to impede my mobility here, which I plan on, like, I eventually move to a nicer area. Also, fire rate increased again. This is equivalent to aerial phase 3. And oh look, it's raining. Good skull. Another good skull. Very good, actually. Another good skull. And also a pretty good skull. Bad skull. Pretty good skull. Bad skull. Pretty good skull. Very bad skull. I just completely ignore it because it wasn't worth it. Not a great skull, but I'll take it. Bad skull, I'll just avoid it. That was kind of made it not worth it with that volley. That was not a good skull. I thought I could make it, but nah, that one's alright. Couldn't get it to hit though. The black skulls here are keeping me from dashing in front of the blue skull like I would like to, because they're just too close together. Also, I start deciding that the craters are not worth fighting in, and start spiraling away from the wither to make it come closer to me. That's a pretty good skull though, so I'll take it. Unfortunately, still a miss. Pretty bad skull. That one would have been pretty good, but I was too far. Now I'm drawing the wither away from the craters. And that's a good skull. I still miss though. That's a bad skull. Good skull. Yeah, that's a pretty good skull. That one would have been alright, but first was in the way. These are all pretty good skulls, because they're not getting in my way. That one is like mediocre, but I make it work. That's not worth it. That's a pretty good skull. And that's a very bad skull. That's an alright score, but I couldn't make it work. That's an okay one. Notice how the Wither is firing very fast, almost all of them at once. If the sound were on, it would be quite spectacular. Unfortunately, it is not, and you will have to see it for yourself. Now I have to actively walk around the volley of black skulls. Here, I'm okay with taking mediocre skulls, because I think I can still make it. And again, I'm getting annoyed by all the craters that are impeding my mobility, which is the only thing keeping me alive at this point, because I'm not wearing any armor or anything, and I don't have any enchanted dapples to keep if I get hurt. That's like an okay skull. That's a bad one. Notice how I almost died. That could have killed me. If it hit me directly, I would have just died then and there. Not instantly, but the wither effect would have finished me off. I'm very surprised it didn't hit me directly, given how much explosion damage it dealt to me, though. And now I refuse to take anything but the most perfect of skulls for deflecting back at it. I guess I could have taken that one, but the burst was in the way. It's just not worth it to take any more damage, because I've only got 3 hearts left. That's a good skull, though, so I'll take it. That one may as well. I missed, though, so I'm trying to deflect these ones towards it, but it's not easy because I have to punch it and flick my mouse over to the side like that in order to actually hit it towards them. That almost killed me, that falling in a crater, because I only barely dodged all of the volley. That was a very good skull, and I'll take it. Also a good skull, also a good one, but I hit its head, so it doesn't do anything. Headshots don't count for wither fights. Unless you're wielding a bow, I guess. But this is wither armor phase, so it wouldn't do anything either way. That was a mediocre skull, but I'll take it. That one's okay. Also, not, I mean, that one's a pretty good one, but I miss. That one, absolutely not. May as well. That one's okay. Oh, and it's dead. Wow. Alright. And yeah, I placed blocks because blast damage. I'm at a safe distance, but you know. Also, I get a wither rose for killing it because technically it died because of a wither, and all mobs that are killed by withers drop wither roses. And since the wither was killed by a wither skull, it gave me a wither rose. And in celebration, I will wither away from heights. I have completed my goal. And yes, I don't die of fall damage, I die of wither. Good game.